you can apply a level of excellence to anything. And for me, that started like on my paper round, even like I can fold a newspaper like nobody, you put it in the letterbox, so it's never going to rip. It's going to be perfect. I make beautiful sandwiches, a nice cappuccino when I worked in the deli. So I really understood that in order for you to get noticed and in order for you to stand out, applying a level of excellence to your work works at any level. And so I think now where I am, like being very, very focused on delivering best in class product and delivering it to customers and always pleasing and delighting customers, came from this early baseline of just doing anything that I could really well.
Mama Oprah said in a Vogue interview, she said, let excellence be your brand. And I have held on to it, and exactly what you just described, from folding a newspaper to making a sandwich. It's not just about when you get to a boardroom or anything. It actually starts in your daily life.
100%. And also that's how you get there, right?
Yeah.
It's like knowing that all the steps count, knowing that everything that you do in every job along the way, because let me tell you, like life is short. And I have, as I've been doing this press tour, I've come up with 3 people that used to work for me, 3 of them that I am now relying on as press people to write about a project that I'm doing. And so how you treat people, what you do, how you behave, like it all comes back around.
A wise woman once said, start with yourself. It's right there. Hello, Wisdom and Wellness family. Welcome to another episode. It is an extremely special one. I am joined by the one and only phenomenal entrepreneur, investor, mother, wife, co-founder of Good American and founding partner of SKIMS. You heard me correct. And now she is an author. Let us welcome Emma Grede. Hello, Emma.
Oh, hi, my love. What a mouthful.
Well, you're amazing. It's not me.
It's definitely not you, and it definitely is me.
I love that. I know you've been to South Africa before, right?
You know what? I was so lucky to come. How long ago was it now? Maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I came with the Obama Foundation.
Yes. In Cape Town.
It was absolutely phenomenal. And you can imagine, it's like I really got like the treatment. I went around, I had the best time. And then of course I promised myself that I would come back, and it's been a busy couple of years, so I haven't quite made it, but I will definitely be coming back.
Hopefully you'll come back and add us for your book tour, okay?
Let's go. I have to tell you, out of all of the comments back, I have had 3 cities come up again and again and again, and South Africa is a place that everyone's like, you have to come back to South Africa.
Trust us. Okay, let's get in. I've got a lot of questions and I need to squeeze all of them in. If we go over time, it's you, because I can see you and I are both yappers. Yeah. Okay, let's start with Icebreakers. What's your get up and go song?
Oh, my get up and go song is Rihanna. Bitch better have my money.
Okay, one thing you do that makes you feel like you, like yourself.
Do you know what? It's like having a cup of tea and reading a book. Like that is my default reset, like the me time. If I get all my kids out of the house, I'm going to sit down with a cup of tea and a good book. And that's like bring me back into myself.
It's giving a true Londoner person. Like,
right?
Can't argue with that. Okay, last one. If you could only bring one item on an island, just one, what are you bringing?
Babe, I'm not going. I'm just like,
what? You're not going.
Like one, like no, like I'm not a travel light girl. Let's just be fair. Like I arrived here with 4 suitcases. I'm a just in case bring everything type of person.
Okay, so you're not going.
No, I'm not going.
I'll take that. Let's get into the conversation. I mean, I wrote a book 2 years ago, and afterwards, I haven't been the same person. So I want to find out from you, post-writing, who are you in this new season? How would you describe Emma? How would you describe yourself?
You know what? That is a wonderful place to start, because there is something magical that happens when you write a book, and learning so much about yourself through the process, because I'm a highly kind of like thoughtful person, right? And so I thought I knew a lot about myself, and writing this book kind of like unfurl a lot of things that perhaps you haven't given as much thought to as you should have. I also kind of came into this thinking, I'm going to write a business book. I, know how to start brands. I know how to build businesses. I know a lot about leadership and building a career. And actually, I ended up kind of writing the book back to front. So I did all of that apart. And then I wrote about managing your emotions. And then I wrote about, holding a vision for yourself. And so what you see as the book now is, the opposite of the way that I wrote it. And so it's kind of interesting, the discovery that you go through as you're writing something that you want to be really useful for people. And I wrote this book that, ultimately Start With Yourself is about self-leadership. And so I wanted people to be able to pick this up and immediately be able to use the information that they get from it. And so I wrote it purposefully in a way that I thought you'd be able to read something and then apply it to your own life immediately.
Correct. Love that. What are moments when you think back? I mean, I've started reading the book, and I can see already, I think you're quite a confident, jumpy child. But when you look back, what are moments that shaped your confidence, but also your work ethic is incredible. So which moments can you pinpoint to?
I think that that's so much about the place that I'm from. Where I was born in East London was a really unglamorous place that was just full of people that got up every day and went to work, and that kind of seeps in you somehow, right? I always thought about work as being deeply unenjoyable. It's what you did to pay your bills and to get through the day, but the level of hard work and kind of attention to detail has really seeped through. And I think what I learned as I got older was that you can apply a level of excellence to anything. And for me, that started on my paper round, even I can fold a newspaper like nobody. You put it in the letterbox and it's never going to rip. It's going to be perfect. I make beautiful sandwiches, a nice cappuccino when I worked in the deli. So I really understood that in order for you to get noticed and in order for you to stand out, applying a level of excellence to your work works at any level. And so I think now where I am, being very, very focused on delivering best in class product and delivering it to customers and always pleasing and delighting customers, came from this early baseline of just doing anything that I could really well.
I love it. One of my favorite quotes, Mama Oprah said in a Vogue interview, she said, "Let excellence be your brand." And I have held on to it, and exactly what you just described, from folding a newspaper to making a sandwich. It's not just about when you get to a boardroom or anything. It actually starts in your daily life.
100%. And also that's how you get there. Right?
Yeah.
It's knowing that all the steps count, knowing that everything that you do and every job along the way, because let me tell you, life is short. And I have, as I've been doing this press tour, I've come up with 3 people that used to work for me, 3 of them that I am now relying on as press people to write about a project that I'm doing. And so how you treat people, what you do, how you behave, it all comes back around.
That's true. When did you start taking responsibility for your own success? I think you speak a lot about that. And I think it's important because we do have a bit of an entitled generation, but you're very hard on take responsibility for your own success and for your own life. When did that click for you?
I think it was in my late teens. I come from a really blamey culture. Everything was somebody else's fault.
Somebody else's fault, yeah.
Is we can't get a doctor's appointment. That must be the government. No one's picking up our trash. That must be someone else's. Her over there. And I just think that I understood that no one was coming to save me. Sure. And so I really had very little choice but to take my life into my own hands. And I think the moment that I assumed total responsibility for myself, and I mean that I wasn't looking over there or having an expectation, that's when stuff started to change for me. The minute I was I am responsible for this life. I'm responsible for my own happiness. I'm responsible for my own work ethic. I'm responsible for if this is going to be a good day or a bad day. It's all within me. And as I started to understand that more and more, stuff started to shift and it started to change. So I think I was lucky to learn it young, but I've been in constant practice, right? It's easy to lose that. And so you have to constantly bring yourself back to this idea that you are in charge and you hold all the power.
If I'm not mistaken, you only started therapy once you had reached a level of success, right?
Oh no, I was in therapy from young, let me tell you.
Okay.
So I started therapy after I started anger management when I was early 20s, maybe 21, 22. But it's been a pretty consistent pattern in my life. You have to remember, I'm 43 now. So 25 years ago, therapy wasn't as prevalent in the culture as it is now. And I was in a community program. I didn't have money for a therapist. Do you know what I mean? But as I've grown older, I've done various different things and I've had therapists kind of on and off my entire adult life.
Do you find that therapy is very necessary the more successful you get?
I think it's necessary if you want to be an evolved person. And I don't think that that's related to your success, right? It's like, how do you want to move through your life, and how do you want to process and understand who you are and what you're capable with? For me, it's been really important. And even now, I have a coach who kind of acts like a therapist slash coach. And I find that really useful. So it's like understanding the periods in your life and what's needed. But I find that having someone that doesn't know you, that can be like hypercritical and kind of, you know, like that mirroring that you need, that's been really useful to me. And I don't know a time when I haven't been with some type of therapy.
Well, I believe in it. I want to get into your book, Start With Yourself, which is coming out in April.
It's so wild to think that, you know, because you work on a book for so long, and then it comes out and you're like, oh my goodness, it's like kind of giving birth. It's like the you know,
it literally is giving birth. Yeah. So you start with vision, right? And I mean, you've already given us a bit of a hint of how it went, like sort of backwards, but you start the chapter with part 1, which is vision. Why is that important? Firstly, we know it's important in a business, even in just your personal life, but why did you find it necessary to introduce us to your book that way?
You know, because first of all, I think that we often come to like reading books and things when we can be like a little bit lost, right? And what is interesting is that a vision isn't so useful when you're like cracking on and you know exactly where you're going and you know what you're doing, but it's useful for those moments when we fall off. It's useful for those moments when things are difficult and we come down. And I think that if you've articulated a vision for yourself, it actually helps you in the really difficult moments, because we all need like a North Star. We need a guiding light, and we also have to have a filter to put our decisions through, because we're inundated with so much information and so much opportunity that you need to be able to say, like, here is what I'm going towards. This is the direction of travel that I want for my life. And therefore I have to say no to this thing over here, or I have to give up this idea over here, or is this a decision that's getting me closer to my goals? And so I find the exercise of being clear about what is important to you. Also because, you know, we live in a culture right now where we're bombarded with stuff, right? Social media, and you're like, do I want that? Is that something that's for me? And so like getting close to yourself and doing the work of understanding, like, who am I? What is important to me? What do I want? What kind of life am I thinking about leading? That is so important, because I don't want to be guided by somebody else's stuff.
In fact, I love what you said, to a point where when I create my vision for the year, I've started going off social media, because I found that sometimes you think it's your vision, but you actually saw Emma do it, and now you think it's your own vision. So it's like, it's good to have a time of isolation and switch off a bit while you're actually planning your own vision, so that it comes from you, what you want. Therefore, in hard times, like you said, then it's sustainable, because it's not somebody else's dream or somebody else's vision.
Absolutely. And, you know, I talk about that so much in the book, because to me, you know, I want to stay in learning mode. And so, you know, I use social media in a way that it's like, great, there are things that I learn and people I follow, but there's a lot of different ways to come to your information. And so I think figuring out how you can always be in learning mode and not following, you have to dictate that stuff for yourself.
I love that. Yes, learning mode and not always following. Which chapter was the hardest to write, and why?
I think, you know what, it was the introduction, because it's so hard to look at yourself and take a step back and be like, what is this for? What am I doing? How do I speak about myself? How do I frame myself? It was so easy for me to write about leadership, and so hard for me to go like, here's where I came from.
Yeah, this is me.
Stuff that made me. I was like, oh.
I love that. And how is your leadership? How do you feel your leadership has shifted, especially since your business has grown, and we've obviously seen your influence grow significantly? We know that in the business world, I think your influence has been there for some time, but particularly on social media, even in South Africa, your influence has grown significantly. Has that shifted how you lead, how you present yourself, how you bring yourself?
No,
Ooh,
you know,
okay.
I'm pretty, you know, I'm me, because here's the thing. I think if you asked people about me, like people that work for me, and I employ hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, they'll tell you that Emma has really high standards. Like, I'm really firm, but I'm really fair. And the way I bring myself into a room...
Firm but fair. I love that.
Firm but fair. And I think that that's important, because when you have high standards, you have them for everyone, but I also have them for myself.
Ooh.
And I think what I've done really well is to kind of model the type of behavior I want. I leave the office every day at 5 o'clock. That means that you can be a parent and have a really big career when you work for me. I talk about my mistakes all the time, and I'm very open with like, here's the thing that I did wrong, and here's how we the things that went awry as a result of that decision, which means that when people make bad decisions, they can do the same too. So I actually think that I try to be who I am. I don't have the energy for pretending.
It's too much work, and you don't need more work.
I really don't.
You don't need more work. So please tell me something. I mean, you run multiple businesses, and these are like huge businesses that are also seen in a public perspective. What does your day look like? Is it like Monday is for Good American, Tuesday is for this, Wednesday's for this, or in a day, 1 hour this, 1 hour? How do you make sure you excellently give 100% or your best to every business?
That's the thing that I feel like we have to be really honest about. I have an enormous amount of help, right? I'm a mother with 4 kids, and I work across multiple businesses, and there's a lot of people, and I rely on a lot of people, both in my personal and my family life, and I hire the best people. And I think that what we all have to understand is that no one is great at everything. I'm very, very clear about my strengths. I know what I do uniquely well, and I hire other people to do the rest.
To do the other stuff,
so much of my time is actually spent hiring. I spend 25% of my time hiring the best people in the world, because that makes me better. That makes me good. And I learn a lot from those other people. So this idea that I'm like running around doing everything, it's like nobody is self-made. It takes an army, it takes a village. And I just make sure that I am surrounded with like the best in-class people wherever I am in any business. But the truth is that I am in the office every day. I'm a 5-day-a-week person. I work all the time. I send emails at night. I wake up on the weekends. The first thing I do is I check my sales every day. I have a little moment of gratitude, and then I'm like, I'm going on Shopify to check what's happened. So
that's reality.
That's the reality of my life. It is work, and I'm lucky that I do something I love, but there isn't like this big separation where it's like, I kind of do one thing one day, one thing another day. It's like all things all the time, because what I do is, to me, it feels like the same thing.
So what I'm hearing is that you're so good at delegating and hiring that not every decision has to run past you.
Absolutely. Quite the opposite.
Oh, okay. That's really good. Okay. What does power look like when you own who you are? And I think we've established that you have been consistently yourself, even through growth. So what does power look like for you when there's self-ownership?
I think that is an amazing question. And you know what it looks like? It looks and it feels like the truth. Because when you own who you are, you don't have to make things up. You don't have to come into a room apologizing. But it takes an enormous amount of work, because when you understand, there's a quote in the book, and I like to quote my very good friend, Diane von Furstenberg. She says, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. And so I have made sure that I am in relationship to myself, that I know who I am, that I know what I want, that I bring that person into the room. And I'm not really afraid of saying what it is that I want. Like, I started out wanting money, wanting power, wanting to do have a big job, but I never was like, I didn't hide behind performative politeness. I didn't make any kind of what is the word that I'm looking for? There's nothing in my life. There's no facade. And I think that we have to take responsibility for the things that we want, and we have to be very, very, very forthcoming. And one of the things that I talk about a lot in this book is that there are rules in the culture at large that keep women small. And there are we've been kind of socially conditioned to avoid the exact behaviors that get us positions of power, that can make us more wealthy, that get us to leadership roles. And so this book is really there as a guide to dismantle some of the things,
the shame,
culture that don't serve us.
Sure, love that. Before we move on to some rapid questions, what has motherhood taught you? What's the greatest lesson that motherhood continues to teach you?
I think that motherhood, it's a great leveler. And I think it comes back down to this idea of what is it that you really want and what do you find important? And I think what motherhood taught me is that I am really ambitious, and I wasn't willing to park that ambition because I had kids. In fact, I think motherhood made me even more ambitious.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to like really think about what is, what is important to you to put out there every day as as a kind of behavior for your kids to see. And so for me, it's been very, very important to explain to my kids and to be an example to them of what it means to kind of go after what you want. And so I think that it's been extremely clarifying for me. I love being a mum, and I think that I'm so lucky that I have 4 little children, and family is really important to me, and traditions are really important to me. But so is all the work that I've done over the last 20 years. And it doesn't suddenly take a kind of back seat because I'm a mother of 4 now.
Sure. I think that is really liberating. People always say marriage is a mirror. I think motherhood is a mirror. Like what you said,
they'll both be a mirror, both of them things.
Listen, you will see everything. You are the good and the bad in plain sight. Okay, these are some quick ones. Advice for women who are building, and not just building, but building while building their family.
You have to start with yourself. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to suddenly rescue you. If you have ambition, it's going to require some discomfort. And if you want money, it's going to require some audacity. And we are desperately in need of more women in positions of power in this world right now. But no one's coming to give you power. You have to take it.
You have to take it. Love that. What's one takeaway you want everyone to get from your book?
I want everybody to take responsibility for themselves. At the end of the day, Start With Yourself is about self-leadership. And I think that when you're able to understand how much power you have, that's when everything clicks into place.
Oh, love that. Okay, so we traditionally have a wall of wisdom at Wisdom and Wellness. So it's just 3 questions again. A verse or a quote that you live by?
Oh, honestly, I would say it's probably that you have to make a decision and move on. And I say that because we can do so much procrastination and so much living inside our head, and no one's watching you. It's just like, make it, move on, do better next time.
Live with the consequences. It is what it is.
Yes.
And make a decision and move on. Okay. A book or a podcast you highly recommend?
Oh my goodness. This is such a hard one. Okay. The book that, what is it? You want a business book or you want more of a lifey book?
Let's make it I'm going to do both. Give me both.
Okay, so my business book would be From Good to Great, Jim Collins. It is like masterful, ridiculous, amazing. The kind of life book that I like would probably be The Untethered Soul, which is by Michael Singer. And it is it's delicious. It's like just
it's like good pasta.
Just good pasta. Just suck it up.
I love that. Have you read The Alchemist? I'm sure you have.
Oh, it's such a goodie. I know. I like to give you a top 10. Do you know what I mean? I'm a big reader. I could do a top 20.
Okay. Podcast?
Podcast would probably be Aspire with Emma Grede.
Of course, obviously, yes.
I'm a listener, actually. I love a good podcast.
All right, this is my last one, and you're going to finish the sentence. A wise woman once said, start with yourself. It's right there. That's it. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've run out of time, but do you have any closing words, any promises to South Africa?
Here's the thing. I need to come to South Africa. That's what I know I need to do. There is no more beautiful place in the world. It's not a hard place to come to. I've got to find the moment in the schedule to come. It was so lovely speaking to you, my darling. Thank you.
Thank you. You're amazing. We can't wait. Our community, we are choosing your book as our read in our book club, and we do have discounts available. So we're excited to dive into it. You've answered our questions. I'm going to pop you a text because I know Emma like that if you guys want to know any questions. Okay?
Let's go. Let's go. I'll answer them. It's
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my darling.
And all the best with your tour.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
All right.